Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I want to welcome you here tonight, and I want to thank you all for being here. I know that there are many places that you can be on this hot, sunny afternoon, and I really acknowledge you for being here and really taking a step towards living a fulfilling life. So, first I want to ask you, how many people in here want to be in their sweet spot in life?
Right here.
Yeah. So we're about to have a conversation, and it's not a very common conversation, but what I want you to be left with is that you are all perfect, whole, and complete. So how many people know that they're perfect? A few raise their hands. You're in the right place. So we're going to deepen on that today. So I want to tell you a little bit about who I am. So I was born in Tucson, Arizona in 1975. You do the math. And I was raised in Huntsville, Alabama, but I've been in Atlanta for 16 years. I went to undergraduate here. I went to medical school at Morehouse School of Medicine, and then I went down to Orlando to do my family practice residency. Now, I've always known that I wanted to do an integrative practice, meaning integrating in alternative therapies with my traditional flow. And so after my residency, I went and I did training in acupuncture. And then in 2008, I deepened that and I went ahead and did a coaching certification. So what my stand is that everyone live a life that they love, a life that they truly adore. They wake up every morning completely ecstatic. How many would like that? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But there are just a few things that get in the way of that, right? Can name some of the things that get in the way of you having a completely fulfilled life?
Life.
Kids. Traffic. Right. So all of these things, there are these things that we allow to get in the way, right? We allow them to get in the way. They're just circumstances. They're just things, right? So when we're born and we're little bitty babies, we're perfect, right? We're just so cute. We've got these little bitty hands and we have these little bitty feet and these little bitty toes and we're just perfect, right? And then there's nothing going on. We cry when we're hungry. We cry when we're sleepy. We cry when we, have a dirty diaper. We're just always experiencing life in the moment, totally through our senses, right? And then we go along in life and we're 6 months old and we're starting to crawl around, experiencing life with complete wonder and curiosity. Nothing going on but the present moment, right? We're just crawling around. There's no, I'm too shy, or I'm a failure because I fell down off of the couch. There's none of that going on, right? It's just the present moment. And then we go along and we're 1 year old and we're starting to walk and we're experiencing everything that we can get our hands on, putting it in our mouths, right? And there's nothing going on but the present moment, right? We start to say our first words, we're babbling, we're like fully self-expressed, right? Blah, 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 mommy, daddy, food, and no.
Right.
How many people have a problem saying no in here? A little bit, right? Come on, tell the truth. All right. So, babies don't have a problem saying no. They're fully self-expressed. And then one day, you're walking around and mommy says no, or daddy says, don't touch that. And then we lose this perfect, whole, and complete. Something's wrong. Suddenly, we develop these identities and we no longer see ourselves as perfect, whole, and complete. So what happens? We become adults. Dun, dun, dun. Right? Seriously. So, as babies, we're perfect. We're living life fulfilled. We're experiencing life fulfilled. And then we grow up and we become adults, and suddenly fulfilled becomes full-filled. You get that? Full of worries, full of bills, full of responsibilities, fulfilled, right? So we forget that we're perfect and we're whole and we're complete. And we fill our lives with worry and, mental chatter that we don't need in our lives. So what I want to talk about today is getting back to that life of fulfillment, to that wonder and that childlike state. You see these? So some of you have paper. If you want to take notes, you might want to write that word. We're going to get fulfilled today. How's that sound?
Good. Awesome.
So the first thing, I said it earlier, you want to find your sweet spot in life. How many have already found their sweet spot? How many are living in their sweet spot every single day? Oh, the sweet spot. So your sweet spot is when you know you are living your purpose. You absolutely know you're living your purpose. You know what you're here on earth to do, right? Sometimes you know what you're here on earth to do, but you're not doing it. And we're going to get to that later, right? Why is it that you know what you're here on earth to do, but you're not doing it, right? So you got to find that sweet spot, and you got to be willing to take a risk to live in that sweet spot, right? So you got infants living in that sweet spot all the time, right? So let me tell you when I knew that I was in my sweet spot. I started my practice about 5 years ago, 2007. And the first time a patient ever wrote me a thank you email, it went something like this. Dr. Claiborne, you were the only person who heard me. I've been to so many doctors, and they never took the time to ask me what's going on underneath just the symptoms. And then my heart just filled up. And that's how I knew I was in my sweet spot. So how do you know when you're in your sweet spot? It's when you get to a place, either you're interacting with a person or you're doing some work, and you get that fullness. It's a physical thing. You get that fullness. You may even be moved to tears. And unless you're repressing your emotions, we'll get to that too, right? So you want to find your sweet spot. And I'm just going to write this up here, okay? So I told you earlier, babies are running around and they're like, blah, 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 mommy, mommy, why? So I got to tell you this story when maybe about a year ago, my baby sister moved in with me with her 4 children and husband. And my nieces and my nephews, my nephew was 7, my 3 nieces were 6, 4, and going on 1 at the time. So, I've lived by myself for a very long time. And then suddenly, I'm like the Brady Bunch in my house, right? And one of the things I really loved about coming home was that I'd walk in the door, and all of my nieces, except for the one who was just walking, would take off running. And they'd run up to me and they'd be like, auntie, 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 and like throw their arms around me, right? It was just like, that's full self-expression, It's like, when's the last time you took off running anywhere, screaming, auntie, 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 or, mommy, 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 or whatever. When's the last time you took off running at full speed with that kind of joy and happiness? When you find that kind of full self-expression, then you find your sweet spot. You find your creativity. You got that? Yeah. So, you gotta live life. You gotta color outside the lines. You gotta do things. You gotta be in a way that you never thought you could be, or be outside of who you think you are. We all have this way that we think we are, right? We all have this way, this identity. We're getting to that. But in order to unleash that self-expression, you have to be in a way that you don't know yourself to be. So if you're quiet, then just, let it all hang out. Right? I was in this communication course this weekend, and I was called upon to read this board. And so I get up and I start reading the board like, you know, da-da, blah, 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 blah. And the course director says, louder. So I say, blah, 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 blah. And she says, now, I want you to do it completely over the top. So, you know, in that moment, I really had to be someone that I don't know myself to be. I may look, you know, pretty self-expressed up here, and I am. But in that moment when she said over the top, I don't really know myself to be over the top. So then I had to get, you know, like, and blah, 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 and this and that, and full self-expression. And I really did that. But it was just out of taking a risk. You know, we all think, well, I'm going to look stupid, right? How many people think if they go full out, if they play full out, they're going to look stupid? Yeah. How many people are worried about looking good in here? Come on now. Yeah. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. You know, how many people didn't raise their hand because they're worried about looking good? Yeah. Gotcha. I got your numbers, all of you, right? So really, color outside the lines. Be a person who you don't know yourself to be. Then you start to find your full self-expression. Then you start to find what it is that's your sweet spot. So I'm just going to write this here. You know, when you really start to unleash yourself, you find that you're laughing more. You know, laughter, you know that old saying, laughter is the best medicine? Let me tell you how true that is. So there's actually research out there that shows that laughter decreases your cortisol levels. Now, cortisol is released by the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands sit on top of the kidneys, and the adrenal glands are responsible for helping your body to deal with stress. So when you're very stressed, your adrenal glands release the cortisol, and your cortisol is high. Now, if you have an overload of cortisol, you have complications like elevated blood sugar. Your blood pressure can go up. You retain water. You can get swelling. So having a sustained elevated amount of cortisol is really not that healthy. It's like a steroid. Does everyone in here kind of know what a steroid is? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like the natural body's steroid, or the body's natural steroid. So when you're stressed, the cortisol is high. When you laugh, it lowers the cortisol. So it also lowers epinephrine. Now, epinephrine is the substance in your body that gets released when you're in the fight or flight mode. All right, so when you're scared, or when you're running away, or when you're angry, and you have this epinephrine released, then your blood pressure can go up, your heart rate can go up, right? And so laughter on a regular basis, people who laugh on a regular basis and engage in humorous or humorous behavior, they actually lower their cortisol levels and their epinephrine levels. So it really has some benefit. Laughter also has been shown to decrease inflammation at the cellular level. All right, so you have cells in the body and they're all irritated and you laugh, it decreases that inflammation. So it really is true that laughter is the best medicine. You know, there's a study out there that it's really an anecdotal study, but there's some studies out there that show that people who have had cancer and they're getting their treatment, but if they go and they make funny movies, or they're having more fun and they're laughing more, then it actually prolongs their life. Yeah. Yes. And so you really got to get that we're too serious in life, especially our society. It's like, oh my God, I gotta get up and go to work today. It's Monday. I don't have any friends. I hate my boss. I gotta take a pill every day. So serious, heavy, and significant. We have to learn to laugh at ourselves. I'm so embarrassed. I messed up. You know? Yeah. Like, that's how we are. In Technicolor.
Yeah, Technicolor.
Okay. So I got to tell you this story. It's going to make you laugh, right? So picture it's 2004. It's a hot day in Atlanta in the afternoon. It's about 4 o'clock. I'm walking out of my apartment complex. I had just paid the rent. Walked into the car, walked into the car, and then, bam! off the curb. Okay? Now, I wasn't texting. I was watching where I was going. I wasn't talking on the phone. I didn't even trip. I didn't even trip. I just fell off the curb. On the ground. All the way. Okay. All I could do, I was so embarrassed, right? All I could do was get up and kind of look around. There was a couple of people that saw me. Open the door and get in my 4Runner and just laugh. Like, I just had to laugh. I was like, wow, what are the odds of that? You know? So that's when, we just got to laugh at ourselves. And when there's nothing else to do, sometimes you got to laugh. In residency, we used to have this saying, you either laugh or you cry, because it was intense. And you know how to make really intense things fun? You make it a game. When I was on call every third night, 24 hours in the hospital, go home, maybe have a regular day, go back to the hospital, go on call for 24 hours, maybe have a regular day. When I hardly lived at my house, but I lived in the hospital. Yeah, when I was just like sleep deprived, the only thing I could do was be deliriously funny all the time. Yeah, and that's the way you do it. That's the way you do life. And of course there are things in life that are not funny, right? Of course there are things in a life that are sad and they're tough, but largely we can have a sense of humor about life. So I got one more funny story for you. This actually only happened a few months ago. Recently. So I'm walking out of the bank. This time I am texting to the car. And I walk up to this blue car, not unlike my own, and put my hand on. I have a keyless entry. So I put my hand on, I'm looking at the phone to unlock it. I pull and the door is locked. And I look up, and not only is it not my car, but the car's running. Oh. And someone's in it. So I just, anybody ever watch The Simpsons? Slowly back away, And the guy rolls down the window and he laughs and he says, "It's okay, honey, I just did it last week." And we had a good laugh about that. That could have gone really badly. Yeah. That could have been a shouting match. What are you doing? Oh my God. Yeah. But you gotta make it light. You gotta make life fun. Gotta laugh every day. Out loud. LOL. Right? So I'm gonna just, we gotta write this down. So you gotta laugh and play. You guys like to play?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you guys actually play though?
Yes.
Often?
Yes.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. So part of that play involves being curious and wonder. So again, you get there's a theme here. When we're children, when we're babies, everything is new. Even if it's not new, it's new, right? Even if you've seen the pen 1,000 times before, it's like, oh, Mommy, a pen. Even if you've seen the train 1,000 times before, Mommy, a train. Daddy, a train. What if we lived life every day that way? What if we got up in the morning and said, oh my gosh, I wonder what's going to happen at work today? That was not a joke. Right. I wonder what me and my fiance are going to laugh about today. I wonder what Atlanta traffic is going to be like today. I wonder. Wonder and excitement, right? Like being curious with life all the time. When you can be curious with life all the time, You'll unleash your self-expression. You know, and you be curious with life all the time. You'll find your sweet spot.
Sweetie, sweetness.
Yeah, you'll find your sweet tea too when you're curious. You'll find lots of sweet things when you're curious. But seriously, you know, my wonderful nieces and nephews that lived with me for 3 months, when I would sit on the couch when I'd come home after work after that lovely hug, I'd, you know, politely usher them out and say, okay, you got to go. Auntie's got to get her quiet time in, right? Got to wind down. Kadithia, take the kids, right? And so, you know, the 4-year-old, her name is Priya, cutest thing you'll ever see. Oh, just want to bite her cheeks, right? And she'd always be the one. It was always her. Come in with a cute little self, sit on the couch next to me. I'm like watching How I Met Your Mother, really into it, you know. Auntie, what you doing? Watching TV, Priya. Shh. Why?
Oh my.
Because Auntie's trying to have her quiet time, Priya. What's that man doing on TV? I don't know, Priya. You know, and then here's the thing I got about that, though. Like, she was just so, like, alive. Just alive. And eventually I would just have to, like, pause, you know, because I DVR everything, right? Pause and just turn to her and put her on my lap and, you know, just play with her and color and be in the moment and be curious with her. That's what I got out of that experience. You know, the Brady Bunch experience actually did me some good. And let me tell you, when they moved out, I was just like, where's the curiosity? Where's the love?
Right.
Where's the auntie? You know? Because they were so curious and they were so in the moment all the time. And that's how we should be in life, right? Mm-hmm. What can you be curious about? I'll take anyone. Raise your hand. Traveling. Yeah. What else?
I don't know if I can say it on camera.
You can.
Sex.
Yeah. You can be curious about sex. Yeah. What else?
Just life in general, what the next step in life is.
The next step in life. Like, what's next? What's next? Whether you're just starting a new career, whether you're starting a business, whether you're finishing school, what's next? And how can I make it fun? How can I make it exciting? You know, wonder. Yeah. Make it a game, right?
See how many can pass.
That's one game. Yeah. Put some music on and be like, I'm passing this car. I'm passing this car too. Yeah. I mean, you can make it a game. Curious, wonder. So, in order to be able to laugh and find your sweet spot and be curiously engaged, in order to do that, you really have to forget everything you know. You get that? Mm-hmm. Forget everything you know. Everything you think you know. Everything you thought you knew. Everything you think you're going to find out. Forget about it. And get curious about life. Get wonderful about life. You know, you want to learn your children new every day. Forget what you know about your boyfriend. Forget what you know about your girlfriend. Forget what you know about your mother or your father. Because when you forget, then you get to create them every day. That's how relationships keep their spark, you know. Because you get to create the person, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your children. You get to create them every day. So, in order to forget everything you know laugh and play, unleash that self-expression, find your sweet spot. You know what you got to do first? You got to get rid of that mental chatter. You know, that voice inside your head, you know, the white noise. Write this down real quick. So you ignore your mental chatter. You know why babies are so happy and children are so happy? Because they don't have that. They're not walking around like, oh my God, I'm too skinny. I'm too big. My hair's blonde when it should be black. They don't have that going on. I'm going to look stupid. You know, they just fall off the monkey bars. You know, they just run flailing around. Ah! That's what they do. They don't worry about they don't have the stuff going on in our head. How many people have wanted to do something, but maybe they've had well, I don't know if I could do it because someone told me I wasn't qualified. Right, mental chatter, you know. Or how many people have had, well, I want to get up and work out, but I'm too tired. Mental chatter. Do you know that your brain is the most dangerous place to be alone? Yeah, it'll stop you. It'll stop you from living life. And you'll just be walking around, empty soldiers, little robots, right? Little robots of life, thinking you're living, being stopped at every turn by your mental chatter, you know. So, you know, you just got to ignore it. You know, it's not going to go away, right? Because right now, even I have mental chatter. Do they like me? Am I doing okay? Is my lipstick fading? I can't, like, listen to that or I'd never get through this talk, right? So, you know, you got to just let that stuff go. And it's really all I have to say about it. Because, you know, there's no, like, real how to let go of a mental chatter. You just notice it. Thanks for sharing. You know, you don't have to have a dialogue with it, you know. But what if I do this? Well, you know, you could do that. Yeah. Right. Have a whole conversation in your head about something. Ooh, when I call him, I'm going to say this, and then he's going to say that to me, and then I'm going to say this back. Meanwhile, you haven't even picked up the phone yet, right? How many people have had a conversation before it's even happened?
Me.
Yes.
Cried too.
Oh, yeah. Get mad. Get real mad. Ooh, he said this. I'm going to ask him to do this, and when he says no, I'm going to tell him off. And then I call him to ask my boyfriend to do something. He's like, okay.
So what happened? Yeah.
Okay, well, I had that whole conversation in my head for nothing, didn't I? For nothing. So get rid of it, because it's just wasting your time and your energy. You know, that's exhausting. To always have that little in your head. That's why, you know, anybody like tired all the time? Crickets. Anybody tired?
Yes.
Yeah. Anybody get tired easily? It's probably because it's like you're fighting with your mental chatter all the time. You know, of course, you know, if you have kids, but still, resistance comes from that mental chatter. So get rid of it. Because as soon as you get rid of your mental chatter, then you can live full out. So that mental chatter, you know what it does? That mental chatter makes us so, remember I talked about us being so serious? That's what the mental chatter does. It makes us heavy and significant, right? I'm such a failure. I didn't do it right. It gives us all that self-doubt. How many people have self-doubt? Yeah, tell the truth. Yeah, you know, oh my God, I forgot to tell my client this. They're going to hate me. Oh my God, my boss is mad at me. I'm going to get fired. Oh my God, my business is not making money this week. It's going to fail. That's the mental chatter. So if we let that rule our lives, how can we? How can we laugh? Right? So stop letting the mental chatter run your life. Please. Notice it. Thank you for sharing. Don't have a long dialogue with it. Don't pick up the phone and talk to it. Hey, how you doing? I'm fine, how you doing? I know you said I couldn't do it, but I think I can do it. Maybe you can do it. No, I don't think you can do it. Because remember your boss said that you couldn't do it, so you can't do it. All right, no. Just thank you for sharing. Walk away. Walk away from your mental chatter. Can you do that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could do that. And then you can live full out. You can really start to find your full expression. So living full out. You know, we're going back to our kids, right? And the bursting out, you know, auntie, 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 right? We put ourselves in these little boxes. These boxes called our identity. How many people have an identity? Like a way that they just are. You know, how many people are just a realist? I'm just a realist. How many people are shy? I'm shy. Yeah, right. How many people are private? Oh, I'm private. I don't like to tell people my business. And we got a winner. You know? Let's take some more from the audience. Who are you? I'm just fill in the blank. Katina.
I'm just goofy.
Just goofy. That's great. That's great. I'm adventurous.
I'm uninhibited in my actions, not so much in my words.
Got it. Uninhibited in your actions, but not so much in your words.
I'm authentic.
Authentic. Awesome. Any others?
I'm free.
You're free. So like a way about yourself, an identity, a way that people might identify you. Like I might say, you know, my sisters, I don't say this. My sisters say, you're bossy. Right.
Yeah.
You get to know yourself to be bossy, you know? Or how many people are older sisters or older brothers? And so in the family, you establish a dynamic of big sister, right? Or mother-daughter. You know, me and my mom, we have, over the past year, created an entirely new relationship. From, you know, my mom was fairly strict, and I love her. You know, we grew up in a culture where there's strictness, right? And until the last year, whenever I would see my mom, there was still this mother-daughter dynamic. Now, granted, I'm a lot more open. I was a lot more open with her, and I could talk about the things that I couldn't talk about as a child. But still, there was this dynamic of mother-daughter. And it inhibited, really, us being as close as we could possibly be. And so I told you I was in a communication curriculum this past weekend, and my mother was actually in it with me, and we created something completely new. We created ourselves as friendship. Mm-hmm. Imagine that. It's like, you know, Mom, you raised me. You did a wonderful job. Look at who I am. I love you. And I want to be like you. I am you, you know, in all of the different ways that you are. Even some of the ways that, you know, I don't want to be sometimes, like bossy. I was born with that. It's not something I acquired. It's in my genes. I tell people what to do naturally. Proud. Wear it proudly. But really, and I said to her, you know, I want to create something new for our relationship. Something that will have us be closer than we ever thought possible. I want to create us as friendship. So I want to create something new. Something that'll have us be closer than we've ever been before, that we ever thought possible. I want to create us as friendship. And of course, my mother, you know, being the crier that she is, tears start to roll down her face. And you know what she says to me? She says, you know, all I really wanted was to be close to you and for our family to be close. And even though there was a little resistance to letting go of the mother-daughter relationship, the dynamic, just because there was a fear of maybe I'll lose, respect, or maybe I'll seem weak. And I reassured her, no, creating something new doesn't have you lose anything. It expands who we are. It expands who we are as mother and daughter. Like, you'll always be my mother, and I'll always love you as my mother. But then I can talk to you as my friend. You get that?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can talk to her now as my friend. I don't have to hold back. I can unleash my full self-expression with my mother, and she can unleash hers with me. So, you know what that makes available for us? Like loving out loud. Loving out loud. And when I say loving out loud, I don't mean I love you. I mean when you walk into the room and who you be, who people see you as, automatically, even if you don't know them, is love. How many people know people like that? When they walk into the room, the energy shifts. And you're like, oh, yeah, who is that? Or like, oh, yay, this person's here. That's like loving out loud. You don't have to say anything when you're loving out loud. You just have to be love. It's who you are. So when you love out loud, you're reflecting true humanity. Like, not the stuff we see on TV, but the humanity that we forget that we are. You know, human beings are naturally good. Yeah, some people are born sociopaths and psychopaths. Some people. But mostly, we're born good. Babies are not born with a knife in their hand talking about, No, that's learned behavior. All that stuff is learned behavior. And when we start to be love and reflect humanity, like I am you, and you are me, and I create you, and you create me, start to really reflect that, yeah, that's loving out loud. Mm-hmm. So kids, right, they really know how to love out loud, don't they? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you know, the reason that I could never stay mad at Priya when she'd come and interrupt my auntie time, my quiet time, rather, you know, when I'm watching How I Met Your Mother, is because she was so cute. And she just, no matter, I'd be like, Priya, I'm trying to watch TV. I'm trying to get my quiet time. Can't you see? You know, every single day I come home, I have my quiet time. Get out of here. Go eat. Sitting there on the couch like, Priya, Canivia, come get your daughter. She's so girly. She's so girly. And eventually I just can't resist anymore because she's just pure love. I just like, grab her up and bite her cheeks. I don't really bite her cheeks. That would probably be cruel. But but I want to. Yeah, because she's just pure love. You know, I didn't talk about the 1-year-old, but she was just starting to walk when they came to live with me. And the only way she would go to sleep is if her father would bounce her on his knee. Mm-hmm. And even my sister, for whatever reason, couldn't get her to go to sleep. So one day, Anthony, my brother-in-law, was working or something, and Kanithia's like, I don't know what's that. I said, give me my niece. Bailey is her name. And I just held her, and she held onto my finger, and I start to bounce her on my knee. I was like, I got this. I got the mojo. And she just fell off to sleep in my arms. You know, I don't have children. Yeah, but like that kind of love, it just kind of when you love like that, it just kind of comes automatically. Kids will be magnets. You'll be magnets for kids. They'll like drift towards you. I have random kids that walk up to me. Like, really, sitting at the table, and all of a sudden kids like, where's your parents? I'm not trying to kidnap you, really. Yeah. But kids are very intuitive, and they sense that kind of stuff, right? So, be love. Be love, and then you can say I love you and then really have it mean something. I love you is kind of an overused phrase. And really, I love you doesn't carry much weight unless you follow it with action. Like with a way of being, not so much a way of doing. Not I love you, so I'm going to give you something. But I love you, and I'm going to be love, and I'm going to be supportive, and I'm going to be my word, as a friend or as a lover or whatever, right?
Right.
So a little something about being love, it requires that you love yourself first. Like really love and accept yourself completely as who you are. Perfect, whole, and complete, right? Perfect in all of your little imperfections. That's what makes you perfect. If we were all like the little drones in the Matrix, that's what just came up for me right now, right? We'd be pretty boring. We might look cool with all the glasses and the black on, Yoga. Right. We might look good, but we'd be boring. So we got to love ourselves and all those imperfections. So part of that is, so the next thing, did I write that? Okay, so the next thing we got to do, we want to live full out. We want to love full out. And we want to forget everything we know. You kind of got to escape the bondage of excuses and reasons. Some of the things, or one of the big things that keeps us from living full out and loving full out is our reasons and our excuses. How many of us got reasons in here? Come on now. Mr. I want to look good. How many of us got excuses? Yeah, we all got them. And get that it's nothing wrong, right? Because we're human beings having the human experience. We're going to have reasons and excuses. But then what happens is when you let your reasons and excuses run your life, then you don't get to live. You hear that? When you let your reasons and your excuses run your life, then you don't get to live. Because you're too busy in your head with the middle chatter and the reasons and the excuses. What are some reasons that stop you in life? Too old. What else? No time. Too tired. Too young. Got kids.
Out my comfort zone.
Out my comfort zone. Similar to that, I'm afraid. Sometimes we don't really say I'm afraid, but it's there, right? It's there for us. Fear is one of the most paralyzing emotions on the planet called Earth. And people just don't live life because they're afraid. They're afraid they're too old. They're afraid they're too young. That's the underlying of all of the reasons and excuses, right? They're afraid they don't have enough time. I'm afraid I'm not going to do it right. That's fine. I'm not going to do it right. I'm not going to say it right. They're afraid they're going to look stupid, right? Reasons and excuses for not living life, right? So, do kids need a reason to do anything?
No.
I want ice cream. Why? Because I do. Oh, man. I want cake and ice cream. I want macaroni and cheese. I want to go to Six Flags. Why? Because I do. Johnny, why did you leave your clothes on the floor?
No reason.
You know.
Yeah.
Why do you want a fire truck? Because I do. Why we got to have a reason for everything? Why do we have to have a reason to want to be successful or, to start a business? Why do we have to have a reason to start a business? How about just starting one because you want to? Yeah. Why do you need a reason to call a friend that you haven't talked to in 20 years? Oh, they don't know that. What if they don't know who I am? What if they wonder, why you calling me after so long? What if they think I want something from them? Why do we have to have a reason to do things? Or excuses? Why do we have to have excuses? Well, it's just human nature, right? But we don't have to succumb to our excuses. When I told you I practice yoga, right? That's the really cool matrix move. I get up at 6 in the morning. I'm not a morning person, you guys. That's another identity thing. I'm not a morning person. I don't like getting up before 7. But I get up at 6 to go to the studio to practice yoga 3-4 days a week. And I'm telling you, every single morning I wake up, the alarm clock goes off, and I'm like, I don't want to get out of bed. I'm too tired. And then I push the snooze once. Indulge it for a second, right? And then the alarm goes off again. And I just have to kick myself out of bed every morning. And then I go to the studio, I make it to the mat, and I practice. And it's the most nirvanic thing that I could experience. I'm always so glad at the end of that 1 hour and a half practice that I did it. I'm laying on the mat at the end of the practice, and I'm like, wow, I'm so glad I got up this morning. And then it's like I forget when I go to sleep, right? And I wake up the next morning, I'm like, oh my God, I did not want to get out of bed. I'm too tired at 6 o'clock in the morning. Did I kick myself out the bed again? And I'm like, if you can just make it to the mat, Can you think of something in your life that if you could just make it to the mat, it'd be worth it? If you could just cut through all of the reasons and excuses and make it to the mat, it would be so worth it. If I let my reasons and excuses run my life, I would not have gone to medical school. I was told several times that I shouldn't apply because I was not a 4.0 GPA from college. I was a 3.2. Not too bad, right? I was a B student. So, I had somebody say, well, you should just go into research. You should find another career. And you think after people tell you that for a minute, you kind of start to believe it. You're like, well, maybe now I'm like, no, this is what I'm doing. If I had let my excuses and my reasons run my life, I would not have started my practice. Because when I wanted to start my practice in a specific kind of way, integratively. And I had a practice manager, and he told me, no, you have to start out traditionally and then integrate it. And I was like, no, that's not what I want to do. People start one way intending to do something and it never gets done.
Right.
I wanted to be a fireman, but I just got this job at this restaurant and I've been working here for 20 years. That happens. I was not letting that happen, And if I had let my excuses and my reasons rule my life, I would not be standing in front of you having this talk. I got all kind of reasons not to get up in front of y'all and talk. Y'all know me. So really thank you for sharing, and walk away. Walk away from your excuses and reasons. So, this is what I say, and this is what you should say to your excuses and reasons. So what? You got a reason. So what? What now? I got an excuse. So what? What now? What are you going to do now? What you're going to do now is you're going to declare yourself. All of the finding your sweet spot and unleashing your self-expression, leading to creativity in life, right? And the laughing and the playing and the living life of wonder and curiosity. It's a creative process, right? You get to ignore your mental chatter and live full out and love out loud, right? You get to escape the bondage of your reasons and excuses. You know, your reasons keep you chained up, right? Bondage. And then when you escape that bondage of your mental chatter, of your excuses, you get to declare yourself. Like declare who you are. Every moment, every second. Who am I? I'm going to be this. I'm going to be a speaker. I'm going to be a writer. I'm going to be a cardiologist. You get to declare yourself. I'm going to be a marketing mogul. That's right. I'm going to make 6 figures. Declare yourself in every moment. So we don't get how powerful our words are. You all know about The Secret, right? Does everyone in here know what The Secret is? The law of attraction. What you speak, you put into the universe, causes you to attract. You know, we really say some disempowering things to ourselves. You know, talking about I'm broke or I can't afford. You know, when you put that out there, that's what you're drawing in. You know, you got to really watch your language. Be mindful. Be responsible for your speaking. Responsible for your speaking. Because your speaking creates your world. You got that? Your word creates your world. So you can declare yourself at any moment, like right now. In order to declare yourself, you must be unreasonable. Unreasonable. Escaped from the bondage of excuses and reasons. Unreasonable. So if in the world of declaring yourself, if you wanted to declare yourself in this moment, what would you declare yourself? Who would you declare yourself to be? Let's take some sharing.
I'm a marathon runner.
You are a marathon runner. Yeah.
I'm an accomplished guitarist.
You are an accomplished guitarist. Come play for me.
Got you.
I'm a professional geologist.
You are a professional geologist.
I declare that I'm a best-selling author.
You are a best-selling author.
Yeah.
You really are.
Thanks.
Awesome.
I'm a millionaire.
You are a millionaire.
A doctor of communication.
You are a doctor of communication.
I'm a diamond in organogold.
You are a diamond in organogold. Wow. So it is said, so it is done. Yeah. So, you know, be unreasonable. Let's go back to our theme of children, right? When a child comes up and says, "Look, Mommy, I'm a princess," does she just stand there and look at you like? No. She puts on her tiara. She goes into her room. She has her little tea set up, and she's having tea time. When your son comes up to you talking about, look, Mommy, I'm Spider-Man, does he just be like, no. He's got his whole Spider-Man costume. He starts climbing on stuff like he's Spider-Man, you know, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. He starts to sing the song. My point is, declaring yourself means nothing if you don't take action.
That's right.
You could declare yourself all day long, all night long, 24/7. And if you don't take action, you may as well be in your reasons and excuses. Just stay in that house, because ain't nothing going to happen. I'm Spider-Man. Go put on your suit. You know, I'm a princess. Go put on your tiara. You got to take action. And you know, you got to be your word. Be your word. It's a form of integrity. You know, not integrity like a morality thing, but integrity like being in a state of being whole and complete. So, you know, a bicycle has its spokes, right? And if one or two of the spokes is out of the bicycle wheel, you think that wheel's going to work? Would you ride on a bicycle that had a couple of spokes out of the wheel? Well, you are a guy.
How many spokes in total?
How many spokes in total?
Let's say 20% or
Uninhibited. Lovely. Free. But you run the risk of collapsing that wheel because it has no integrity. Integrity, a state of being whole. You know, so if you speak your word and you don't follow it with action, then there's no integrity in that. If you say, I'm going to complete this book by January 13th, 2013, and then you don't do the work, and then you don't complete the book, then there's no integrity. Not like there's something wrong. It's just like, how can people count? Let me just tell you. How can people count on you when you're not your word, right? Mm-hmm. So I had this problem, I should say I had this problem called being late for everything. And I don't care how early I left my house. Somehow, I was always 5 to 10 minutes late. And you know, it usually happened to be that I got, you know, distracted by a computer, or, you know, it took too long to come out of the parking lot. And then one day I was taking, you know, a course, and I got that if I'm always late, that's what they're gonna listen to me as late. They're gonna be able to count on me that I am my word. It's just like a simple thing, right? There's nothing wrong, nothing bad. It's just that's what they're gonna count on me as. And so I'm like, well, how do I stop that problem? So you know what I did? I had a friend of mine. I asked a friend of mine. I said, hey, you know, I'm really working on this problem called being late. A lot of people have it, right? Who has the problem? I got the problem. I still got the problem, right? And I said, I need your help with something. I said, you know, I'm always late, and I need you to text me when we're meeting. I need you to text me 45 minutes before I'm supposed to leave the house. Leave now. I needed that support. And he did. And then I started being on time. And he would be late because he would think I was going to be late. But you got to get, like, that's how he listened to me. I'd be like, oh, let's meet at 3 o'clock. He'd show up at 3:10 because he knew I wasn't going to be there till 3:15. You got that? Yeah. So that's just an example of like where I've been out of integrity with just like being late. So now there's keeping your word, and then there's honoring your word. So, you know, if you're going to be late, you call and say you're going to be late, right? So that's, you know, things happen, right? Things happen. There's traffic, get a flat tire, get lost. Stuff happens like that are out of our control. So, you got to think of it like there's nothing wrong, there's nothing bad, there's nothing immoral going on. It's just when you can keep your word, you keep your word, and when you can't, you communicate that, right? So that's in the world of declaring yourself, it's being your word and then taking action inside of that word. So, in no particular order, we're going to do these things, right? You're going to find your sweet spot, but you may declare yourself first, and then you're declaring that you're finding your sweet spot. So you go and you find your sweet spot. Or you might declare your self-expression. That's what I did. I just declared my self-expression because I had a bunch of excuses and reasons for not being fully self-expressed. So I declared it, and then it was so. Really declaring yourself is an access to all of these things. You can declare play and laughter. Play and laughter in the face of falling off the curb, in the face of going to the wrong car when it was running and somebody else was in it. I can declare fun and play in that, I can declare that I'm going to be ignoring my mental chatter. I can declare freedom from the bondage of my reasons and excuses. I can declare living full out and loving full out, loving out loud. I can declare being curious and living in a world of wonder. I can declare that. So right now, I want to declare something with you, and I want you to declare something with me. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So you're going to have to listen and repeat after me. I am perfect, whole, and complete.
I am perfect, whole, and complete.
I am unconditional, irrepressible love.
I am unconditional, irrepressible love.
I am abundance and contribution.
I am abundance and contribution.
I am balance and healthy.
I am balanced and healthy.
I am laughter and play.
I am laughter and play.
I am unleashed self-expression.
I am unleashed self-expression.
I am living in my sweet spot.
I am living in my sweet spot.
I am unreasonable.
I am unreasonable.
And I am creating me in every moment.
I am creating me in every moment.
I am perfect, whole, and complete.
I am perfect, whole, and complete.
Because I said so.
Because I said so.
Very nice. So, you guys have such a pristine listening. And I really, really want to thank you for being here and for being participants, for being alive, for being fun, and for listening to me like I'm bigger than life. Yeah. Thank you.